he comes, here he comes. There's the trumpets, there's the drums, here he comes. Hopalong Cassidy, here he
Red Connors and I had been in the saddle since daybreak. We were still a half a dozen miles from our destination, the town of Los Pinos, down near the border. It was important that we get there. When the commanding officer back at Fort Defiance had sent for me and explained why 20 cases of stolen Army rifles and ammunition had to be recovered, we headed for Los Pinos. It had all begun 3 days ago. The shipment of rifles and ammunition on its way to Fort Defiance had been held up and hijacked not far from Los Pinos. The Army had reason to believe that the men who had done the hijacking were in the pay of Pablo Torres, a would-be Mexican revolutionist. With those guns in his hands, Torres would be able to take others, and there would be trouble on the border. But the Army believed that the guns were still hidden somewhere in the Los Pinos area, waiting for a chance to be smuggled across the Mexican border. It was my mission to help see to it that Pablo Torres never got those guns.
You buy the bill, Senora?
Oh, no, it cost a fortune to get one big enough to go around my middle.
Well, that is no problem. I sell you two. That's a wow.
Los Pinos is not much of a place, Hoppy.
No, it isn't.
Can't see how we can find any excitement here.
Oh, not already. Listen, will you do me a favor?
Sure, anything you ask.
I know this is expecting an awful lot from you, but we're here on serious business. Will you please try to keep out of trouble?
Oh, you know I never mean to start things, Hoppy. It's just that I'm a good-natured guy and folks take advantage of it. You must have said that before.
Yeah.
Well, now that we're here, let's eat.
We're not going to do anything until after I've talked to Captain Sterling.
Who's he?
Oh, he's a fellow I met down before.
Hey, you! Hopalong Cassidy. Well, I ain't seen you for 10 years, and you ain't changed a bit.
Why, Mamie Taylor!
In the flesh.
I'd say.
Well, I guess I am a little big at that.
Mamie, this is my saddle pal, Red Connors.
Pleased to meet you, Red. Any friend of Hoppy's is a friend of mine.
Mamie used to sing at a dance halls over Arizona way.
Yeah, they used to call me the 2-ton canary.
You really weigh that much?
Red, there's two things you never ask a woman. How much she weighs and how old she is. Say, Hoppy, what are you doing here in these parts?
I was just about to ask you the same question.
Well, I saved up my money, and about 5 years ago, I retired. Bought myself a little ranch a few miles out of town. And 6 months ago, what do you think? They elected me town marshal. And we're mighty proud of the way we've cleaned up Los Pinos.
Now I've seen everything. A woman town marshal parading around with a cap pistol on her hip. Wonder what she'd do if she ever had to use that.
Red, I've never known anyone that keeps asking for it as much as you do. Why, Mamie can take that gun and...
Hey, you, Daley.
Yeah? What do you want, Mamie?
You know there's a law against drinking on the streets in Los Pinos. That goes for you, too.
Yeah, I know.
See what I mean?
Come here, Daley.
That's what I call fair country shooting.
Mamie always was a good shot.
Man, my hat's off to you. If you just give me the word, I'll turn that young varmint Daley over my knee and spank him.
You're gonna do what to who, loudmouth?
Wait a minute, Red.
On your way, Daley.
You want to cut in on this deal?
Not unless I'm invited.
What's the matter? Yella?
That's an invitation.
I knew it. I knew that Cassidy would give you the lesson you've been needing. Break it up, folks, break it up. It's just a friendly little argument. Daley here is my foreman out at the ranch. He isn't a bad guy. But when he's drinking, he gets a little too big for his britches. Now, you get along out to the ranch and behave yourself.
No hard feelings?
No, not right now.
Where you staying in town?
Oh, I don't know. Got any ideas?
Well, as long as you're in the neighborhood, why don't you and Red stay out my place? I got plenty of room.
Yeah, that's nice of you, Mamie. I don't know how busy we're going to be, but if we can make it, I'm not going to miss the chance eating some more of that good home cooking of yours.
Be glad to have you any time, Hoppy. And you can't miss my place. Just follow the road straight ahead.
Good. If we can make it, we'll be there.
Hey, Red, give us a hand.
Oh, Hoppy, she can cook. She can? Sure.
Well, what are you waiting for? So long, Hoppy.
Come on, baby.
You know, all in all, she's quite a gal, Hoppy.
I knew it.
You what?
I knew sooner or later you're going to fall for some woman.
Oh, now, Hoppy. Mamie?
Senor, you would like to buy the belts? No. They are hand-tooled and muy barato, very cheap.
Cuánto do they cost? Any language Spanish, eh?
Is that what that was? Senor, mi amigo Red Connor says poco estupido.
I agree with you, Cassidy. I've been watching him. He does seem a little stupid.
Why, you tamale...
Wait a minute. This is Captain Lee Sterling, Criminal Investigation Division, U.S. Army. He's the man I was to meet.
Glad to know you.
Aren't you hungry?
I sure am, Hoppy.
Get yourself a cup of coffee. He's a great guy. How long you been in town?
Came here from the border station as soon as we got wind of the hijacking.
Learn anything new?
We're positive the rifles are still on this side of the border. We've narrowed our search down to within a point of 10 miles from here.
Sounds like they could be hidden in one of those caves in Limestone Canyon.
I thought of that, too. There's hundreds of caves in the canyon. I only had time to check a few of them.
We'll check them all if we have to. Meanwhile, I suppose you got patrols and all the border crossings.
Most of them. But it'd take a whole army to patrol the entire border.
How many men have you got here in Los Pinos?
4. All in civilian clothes.
Good. Got any suspects?
Just one. A man who is known to have been friendly with Pablo Torres. He's got a prison record. Did time in Leavenworth.
Who is he?
The gent you knocked down. Daley.
Daley? About Mamie Taylor.
We checked carefully. Her record's as clean as a whistle.
Good. All right, I'll take these two.
Gracias, senor. Gracias.
Cuánto?
5 pesos.
Oh, no. Un peso.
Un peso.
That's better. Have your men ready to ride on a minute's notice. I'll be staying at Mamie Taylor's place. If anything comes up, I'll get word to you through there. Adios, amigo. Coffee, huh?
Oh, I was hungry.
Here's a little present for you.
You sure got the craziest people for friends.
I sure have, but I wouldn't trade any of you. Say, I've decided to accept Mamie's invitation to stay at her place so I can learn a little more about that foreman of hers.
How come Mamie likes you so much after all these years?
Oh, I did her a little favor once.
What was it?
Nothing. Besides, it's a long story. You'll probably hear all about it when you get out there anyhow. Mamie's quite a yacker. Come on, let's go.
Mamie! Those friends of yours from town are here.
Hi, Mamie.
Hoppy.
I found that we have to be around for a while, so if that invitation still goes...
You're more than welcome, Hoppy.
You got a nice place here.
I think so.
It looks like you had a good year for hay.
Best I've had so far. The boys just finished baling that batch yesterday. Getting a good price for it, too.
Good.
Well, you better come on in. You'll just have time to wash up before supper's ready.
We'll be in as soon as we take care of the horses. Well, Mamie, if anything, your cooking's better than it used to be.
You folks will excuse me. I got some chores to take care of. Got to get a load of hay out first thing in the morning.
Remember now, Daley, no drinking.
All right, Mamie.
You know, he don't seem at all like he did in town today.
Well, we had a little heart-to-heart talk when I got home. How about another piece of pie, Hoppy?
Oh, no, thanks.
How about you, Red?
Well, if you insist, just a little smidgen.
Now, that's the way I like to see people eat my cooking.
But I can't understand where he puts it all. Mamie, how long has Daley worked for you?
A little over 3 months.
From the looks of your ranch, he's done a pretty good job.
Well, outside of the fact that he's stubborn and drinks a little now and then, he turned out to be a pretty good gamble on my part.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, I knew when I hired him that he had a record and that he'd served time.
Oh?
But I kind of like to give people a second chance.
Oh, you always were that way. I remember over in Tucson how you used to mother the girls and take care of the sick.
Listen to the man talk. I remember a lot of things that he used to do for others. Why, if it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't even be here today.
Oh, is that so?
I was singing in a dance hall in Tucson about 10 years ago. And one night a fire broke out in the place. And I was trapped in my dressing room, overcome by the smoke. Hoppy finds out that I'm in there, and he fought his way through that roaring fire to my dressing room and carried me out to safety.
What a job that must have been.
Well, if you're through patting me on the back, I'm going to get some sleep.
I'll be with you soon as I finish the pie.
All right, Red.
I wish you could stop over for a while, Hoppy.
I don't know. It all depends.
Well, what with all my gabbing about the old days, you still haven't told me what you're doing here in this neighborhood.
Oh, we just...
But you heard about them Army guns being hijacked?
Sure, but that's not my department. I'm only the town marshal. That's a job for a government man.
What do you think me and Hoppy's doing here?
Well, I should have thought of that, Hoppy. Well, you can depend upon me to keep my mouth shut. Have you got any leads, any ideas?
No, not a thing. I'm up against a blank wall.
Well, if there's anything I can do...
If there's anything you can do, I'll call on you, Mamie. Good night.
Good night, Hoppy. You get yourself a good night's rest, and in the morning you can start looking around. Maybe the caves over in Limestone Canyon.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Good night, Mamie.
Good night.
Come on, Red.
Maybe that was sure good pie. Good night.
Night, Red.
Red was in his usual good form, getting in about 15 snores a minute. But somehow tonight it didn't bother me. But what did was remembering the worried look on Mamie's face when Red dropped the news about my being on the gun running case. Make myself believe that Mamie was in on the deal. But I kept remembering the old saying. When a good sheepdog turns bad, he's worse than a wolf. But whatever had happened with Mamie, now I was sure that the guns were hidden on the ranch. And sooner or later, Daley would lead me to them. I had made up my mind to keep an eye on that bunkhouse till something developed. So I just sat and waited. I had kept watch all through the rest of the night, but there had been no further sign of Daley until just after daylight, when he had come out with his men to load the shipment of hay and send it on its way.
Red, come on, wake up, wake up. I was dreaming we was having the most wonderful fight.
Well, that dream's liable to come true before the day's over. Come on, get your clothes on. Now I know I'm on the right track. That's a small load of hay to be taken to market. And why the armed guard?
Morning, Hoppy.
Morning, Mamie.
Red?
Morning, Mamie.
Hope you slept well.
Ah, like a top. From the time I went to bed until just a few minutes ago when I got up.
Breakfast will be ready in 10 minutes.
Good. That'll just give us time to take care of the horses. Red, you better get the saddles on our horses. We may have to leave here in a hurry.
Where are we going?
I'm going to take a look around. I may not have to wait for Daley to make the first move. I'd given the inside of the barn a going over. There was nothing there that could give me a possible clue to the hiding place of the guns. But a few yards away from the back of the barn, a patch of freshly turned earth attracted my attention. I'd half expected to find the cases of rifles hidden under the turned earth. But what I did find was a sure clue that they had been hidden on the ranch. The piece of charred wood I held in my hand bore the imprint of the United States Army arsenal at Rock Island. The dirt had been spread over the remains of a bonfire. Now the picture was clear in my mind. The stolen guns had been brought here, unpacked, and the cases burned. Then they had been repacked in the last place anyone would think of looking for them, in bales of hay. The rest of it formed a pattern. When Mamie had found out last night that I was acting for the Army, she had decided to take no chances and had immediately sent the rifles to a safer place until the hunt had cooled off. Then an innocent-looking load of hay could be sent across the border to Pablo Torres. Where those bales were now was the important question. Maybe I could trick Mamie into giving me a hint. Red, look at that platter of bacon and eggs. I see your boys hauled some hay away bright and early this morning.
Never mind the stalling. Get your hands up, both of you. Now back up. Now turn around.
What's the idea?
The idea is that I'm going to see that those rifles get through to Torres. I saw you poking around in what was left of the bonfire. Hoppy, how much did you find out?
Just about everything, Mamie.
I should have known you would. Daley!
Yeah, Mamie?
Cassidy's wise to us. You follow those rifles and see that they get across. I'll take care of Cassidy.
Follow the wagon. I'll catch up with you.
You might as well sit down and be comfortable, gentlemen. You're going to have a long wait.
I'm going to get my guns and go after those rifles, Mamie.
Please don't make me shoot you, Hoppy.
I'm gambling you won't shoot me in the back.
You win, Hoppy.
Hold it, Cassidy. Get your hands back up. You too. Don't try any tricks. Mamie will tell you I'm just about as good as she is with a gun. Don't you realize that you're letting down the people who are depending on you?
Besides giving up the blood money he's going to get from Torres.
But I wasn't going to take any of the money, Red.
Mamie was doing it just for the poor, downtrodden people of Sonora.
That's right, Hoppy. When Daley first brought Torres here, Torres convinced me that those guns were going to be used only in the interests of the poor people. He promised reforms. They'd have land, they'd have peace and prosperity.
You've been sold a bill of goods, Mamie. I've heard that line before. All would-be dictators use it. And as for Pablo Torres, I've known him for years. He's no patriot. He's a cold-blooded, ruthless killer willing to sacrifice anything or anybody for power. There have been dictators and would-be dictators before this, and there probably will be in the years to come. No matter what they call themselves, they all use the same lying promises to get control. Once they're in power, the only thing their people get is more poverty and more bloodshed. Don't you understand it, Mamie?
It's all very pretty, Cassidy. But Mamie and me ain't figuring on spending the rest of our lives in a federal penitentiary all on account of you. You're through talking.
Thanks for straightening me out, Hoppy. Get your guns.
Sheriff. Which way'd that wagon go?
Along the Los Pinos road. By now they should be within a half hour of the border.
Maybe there's still time to catch them. Come on, Red. Rifles are in a wagon headed for the border. The wagon and the rifles were within a mile of the dry wash that marked the border. Once into that dry wash, regulations and red tape would prevent us following further, and the rifles would be in Pablo Torres' hands.
Hey, Hoppy.
Yeah?
We didn't need to hurry. We still had 12 feet to go.
All right, boys, let's head back for town. And it's only the bigness of Mamie's heart that made her make the mistake. She's been a big help to us. Shall we give her the break?
Since it's you who's asking, Hoppy, use your own judgment. I'll back it up.
Thanks, Lee.
All right, Hoppy.
All right, Hoppy, put 'em on. I'm ready to take what's coming to me.
You have any further instructions for me, Captain Sterling?
None, Cassidy. Since the rifles are on their way to Fort Defiance under convoy and my prisoners will soon be behind bars, I'll report your mission as accomplished. Good day, sir.
Good day, sir. Well, Mamie, you heard what the man said. Now you head for home, and nobody will ever know anything about your part in this deal.
Bless you, Hoppy. I'll never make the same mistake again.
I know you won't. The next time I'm down this way, I'll stop in and say hello.
And there'll be a place for you in my house, as well as in my heart. Goodbye, Hoppy.
Goodbye, Mame.
Good luck.
Good luck to you. Well, you had enough excitement for one day?
I didn't care so much for the first 23 hours, but that last hour was sure a corker. I wish it was just beginning.
I wouldn't worry too much if I were you. Sooner or later, you'll do something the hard way, and we'll be in it up to our necks all over again.
You think so?
How can we miss? Let's head for the bar 20.
On his way down the moonlit trail to where cowboys reign. Hopalong Cassidy, Hopalong Cassidy, he'll return soon again. There's no use to say goodbye